hatred that you've got with Helgawa and Ginger Tony, I don't know what that's about. Seriously, I don't. But Mandy Mosley putting Helgawa in danger,
as well as I.
putting her address out there with Samuel. That's awful. You see, none of you have got the moral high ground at all. Because Mandy, if you don't know I've had your address for ages. Simon,
this man is your favourite mentor. Thief and his daughter. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a murderer.
You've never seen me put it out online. No.
Same old Peggy, innit? Everyone else's fault.
Is I give it to the police. If I feel it's necessary. If I feel that you've done something so detrimentally illegal that it's going to affect my family, I don't know.
You invited him in for coffee.
And I will continue to do it. Because I sit here and I don't want to be a part of your round. But I watch. I can break the rules.
Same old Peggy, innit?
Break the law. It's spiteful. You propaganda to people. Keep running around saying, oh, that you can get away with it.
Same old Peggy, innit? No one cares what you think.
You don't know where mine started, Simon, do you? You have no clue where mine started. You have no fucking
Same old Peggy, innit?
nor does Easy, nor does anybody else. So when people sit there and they start going, oh, Jupiter this, and Jupiter's doing this, and Jupiter does it for you, and Jupiter... No.
We'll split it up.
No. I'm quite happy to sit on someone else's channel 20 fucking 4 hours if I've got the time. And give them...
You and me and the gay post is quite keen on it, but you know her, she won't let on.
I'd rather not have to report some of the shit I've had to report. I'd rather mind my own fucking business. But when I see fucking adults in their 50s and 60s...
I feel like a film
Oh,
star.
Scott Tomlin, look at his daughter. Look at
I'd like to see that film.
his daughter's I'm like, what the fuck? Who are these perverts looking after people's kids?
I made a mistake on a cake.
Oh, Jupiter's
And you
brother,
asked kill me.
disabled brother. I'm like, what the fuck? Who are these Nazis?
When you've done that,
looking at
you get to the
disabled-
bins and clean out the sink.
Right. I understand it's when it gets downright personal. When you go down to stuff, then I'm really disgusted.
It's £4.50 you made, mate.
For coffee.
Now, in recent days, it's come to my attention that somebody's been putting my fucking sister's picture out there. I don't know why. All my sisters are beautiful. Yeah? I don't know why. I don't think she's going to be fucking that bothered, to be honest.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man. They say you murdered 3. Strange things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? A dead man called out for his love to flee. Strange things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you
bode well for you or for the rest of us, really. It just turns into a shouting match.
All she has, because she has not looked into who I am or what's gone on with.
I don't need to look into. Well, look. Yesterday, where was it? It was yesterday. She turned around and said to me, I need to research my enemy. Yeah. So I researched my enemy, and the first thing that came up was her dead dad.
Oh my God.
So, like, what do you want me to do? And I figured out why you're so obsessed with Danny, isn't it? Because your dad's name was Danny, isn't it, Voldemort? That's why you're obsessed with Danny. You've got this weird obsession, like, it's weird. But anyway.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah. But let me keep the smoke for later.
With my children, she's jumped on a bandwagon with paedophiles, knows she's fucked up, and now all she does is go to my dead dad and kids.
Why? Why do we never believe them? Why? Why do we never believe them?
These people know. These people know.
Who knows?
The governments know. This has been well planned. This is Agenda 2030. This is the Great Reset.
Somebody mentioned to go onto Google and go into the news section and then type in "died suddenly." And lo and behold, here's a whole listing of people, of articles of people within that last week who died suddenly. Older people, but a lot of younger people around the world.
And then you find out they were vaccinated. And so it's like, okay, so it's the vaccine might be causing this.
Most people don't want to know what's in the vaccines.
But yet when we open it almost 2 years into this, we find that it still says intentionally blank.
In fact, nobody wants to know what's in the vaccines because, look, if people understood what was in the vaccine, they'd go apeshit.
It's just there's something different about the blood. Something's causing this and something needs to be said. Somebody needs to look into it. I talked to other embalmers that have 30, 40, even 50 years of experience. Have you guys ever seen this stuff before? And the answer was always, I've never seen anything like it.
Why is Bill Gates involved in public health? And why does public health spend the first part telling you how the world is overpopulating?
And at first glance, this is a bit scary.
U.S. life insurance companies have reported an overwhelming and unexplainable increase in all-cause deaths among 18 to 49-year-olds.
That's a 12 sigma event, 1 in 800 years, 12 standard deviations above the mean.
No one's even calculated that. It's apocalyptic.
I thought he was protected with that Pfizer.
There's a huge part of me that feels a responsibility for everything that's happened. I'm so sorry.
The doctor after a while came out and said, your son's dead, you can go home now.
Who knows? Young people are dying these days.
I said to Mr. Hirschman, this is different. This isn't normal, is it? And he said, absolutely not.
The dead can't speak for themselves, so therefore I have to speak for them.
We're connecting dots here. You know, there's no way that that type of obstruction would not cause stroke, heart failure.
My sister died. She was 58, and she died suddenly on Friday of a heart attack.
They will do with you what they feel like doing to you. It's the new bullet, it's the new missile, it's the new form of warfare.
I wanted people to understand that we're in a 5th generation warfare for the heart and the mind.
This is the greatest orchestrated die-off in the history of the world.
There's most definitely evil in this world, and evil like we could not possibly imagine.
Who are these 20 special children?
There's Millie, she's a brown girl.
Millie who?
Millie Cowell.
Millie.
representation of the Red Queen.
You have to get out.
Modeled after the head programmer's daughter. She'll try to deceive us.
I wouldn't advise this. Disabling me will result in loss of primary power. I implore you.
Implore away.
Please? Please? You're all going to die down here.
the health of our nervous system, our perception. Everything that we do is influenced by the health of our nervous system, our perception, our consciousness, our ability to walk, to breathe, to socialize. When you're angry, it's an inflammatory state. When people are depressed, they're immunologically depressed. When they're happy, their immune system's at a higher state of readiness. I think psilocybin is the most important new molecular medicine for building communities, respect, and kindness and cooperation. It brings us together in a unified field of consciousness and being that I think has tremendous potential positive benefits for the future.
Mycologist Paul Stamets is the world's foremost authority on mycology and the healing power of mushrooms. His incredible work reveals how mycelium connects ecosystems, inspires new medicines, and might even help heal the relationship between humans and the earth.
We have a crisis of creativity. We need to have a quantum leap in consciousness. The chemical industry has inflicted so much harm to biodiversity. It's unraveling the very foundation of the ecosystems in which we've evolved. Fungi eliminate the need and the necessity and the intensity of using these chemical solutions. Conventional medicine and conventional agricultural practices and mycelium lowers the need for toxicity, increasing the innate immunity of the ecosystem.
What do you believe is the intelligence of the universe that produced a mushroom that has this transformative capacity?
We're fallible. We are inadequate to understand the enormity of the concept of God. We will die. We will decompose. Make friends with the fungi now because they're going to get you. We're in a stream of a molecular universe that has a continuum that goes through billions of years. We're all part of one giant consciousness. It makes me feel better about my own mortality. We're all in this together, and it's a great thing.
Hi, I'm Mayim Bialik.
And I'm Jonathan Cohen.
And welcome to our breakdown.
We're covering everything today.
Are you ready to change the world? Are you ready to be part of a revolution in how human beings can better interact with each other and with ourselves and with the entire universe?
Also, what if we are not designed to be sick? What if we are living in a way, in a fundamental way, that explains a lot of the ailments and conditions that we all face? And what if you're not broken? What if you can change? What if there are ways in nature that can help you be less stressed, be less anxious, feel happier, feel healthier, see colors brighter, have better connections with people, be more interested and creative?
More interesting.
So many people are struggling, and there are ways to get over that struggle.
Before we introduce who our guest is, a disclaimer. We are not providing medical or legal advice. Obviously, listeners should speak to a doctor before engaging in any course of what we're going to talk about, in particular microdosing. We're going to be talking about psychedelics today. That's part of the conversation. And psychedelics are still illegal in many places. We're not encouraging anything illegal. We are here to share the latest scientific insights from our guest. And our guest is none other than mycologist Paul Stamets. He's the author of 8 books and recently spoke at the United Nations. I cannot overstate the significance of Paul Stamets in what he describes as an awakening, a global awakening of an understanding of the role that fungi, mycelium, and mushrooms play in our collective health and our collective consciousness. His new book, Psilocybin Mushrooms in Their Natural Habitats, A Guide to the History, Identification, and Use of Psychoactive Fungi, is available now. It's really, really a beautiful book, and it's a full color guide to psilocybin mushrooms, but his entire body of work is dedicated to his love and reverence for all things fungi.
And he also talks a lot about the expansion of consciousness, which is so related to a lot of the conversations we have here on Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, understanding how our perspectives can change, how we can feel more connected to something greater than ourselves and interconnected with one another.
wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for. Baby, do you dare to do this? Cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for the perfect storm, perfect storm? Cause what's your mind, what's your mind? There's no going back. Mark my words, this love will make you levitate. Like a bird without a cage. Down to earth, if you choose to walk away, don't walk away. It's in the palm of your hand now, baby. It's a yes or a no, no maybe. So just be sure before you give it all to me. All to me, give it all to me. So you wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for. Baby, do you dare to do this? Cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? Cause what's your mind, what's your mind? There's no going back.
She's a beast, I call her karma. She eats your heart out like Jeffrey Dahmer. Be careful, try not to lead her on. Shawty heart is on steroids cause her love is so strong. You may fall in love when you meet her. If you get the chance, you better keep her. She's sweet as pie, but if you break her heart, she turns cold as a freezer. That fairy tale ending with a knight in shiny armor. She can be my sleeping beauty, I'm gon' put her in a coma. Never think I love her, shawty so bad, sprung and I don't care. She got me like a roller coaster, turn the bedroom into a fair. Her love is like a drug, I was trying to hit it and quit it, but the mama so dope, I messed around and got addicted.
So you wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for. Baby, do you dare to do this? Cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? Cause what's your mind, what's your mind? There's no going back.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's bright and bushy tails. So, I have a problem with this weird troll called Den Terrigan. It's not really much of a problem. I tend to ignore him most of the time. At the moment, he thinks he's got some exclusive because he's got a private phone call, which is malicious communications, by the way, from a very horrid, eccentric old lady called Moonpooker. Moonpooker is a troll that was sat in troll groups. She tends to pick up on vulnerable men and vulnerable females, but mainly men, and ends up trolling them and then moving on to the next target. Now, I never knew this about Moon when I first met her. Moon was one of these individuals that I felt sorry for. I do feel sorry for a lot of people, and I do try to be nice to as many people as possible, because in our society, there's a lot of people that are disenfranchised, put in vulnerable situations because of the policies that our government's made. They've driven people that were already in poverty into an underclass, and people that suffer with some mental health are lonely and fragile. And I saw Moon as one of those people, because she told me that she had borderline personality disorder, and I felt a bit sorry for her. I used to make excuses for her when she would have some of the most vile outrages, and say to myself, well, she doesn't mean it, because when she switches back, she's apologetic, and she only says the most vile stuff when she's angry or hurt, because she's never matured enough to be able to discipline herself or understand that what she's saying, if she doesn't mean it, she shouldn't be saying it. Okay? And there's a lot of people like that on here. A lot of women, by the way. A lot of the women are put under duress because a lot of the trolls are men, and they're particularly nasty and spiteful and sadistic towards women. And when the women are put under duress, many women end up screaming and shouting like lunatics or acting like they're mad when they're not actually mad. They've been put into a temporary state of psychosis because of the duress that they're under. And me, myself, I've even said things in temper and then afterwards thought, oh, God. But some people wake up and they realise what's happening to them, and they decide, no, they're not playing the game no more. One of the big things that I respect Wendy for, even if I don't still always agree 100% with her opinions, which I don't. For example, I don't particularly like Ghost. She doesn't mind Ghost, Politically, there's a lot I do agree with her on. Sometimes she'll see things from a different point of view to me. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be reviewing that. But I give people, I do try to forgive people, even the worst of people, because I do think that that everybody's made up of good things and bad things, everybody, and I mean literally everybody. And I try to look for the good in everyone, which is why I even talk to, you know, if somebody clicks my link and wants to come up, even including Esau, I allow him up to talk, even though, you know, at times he irritates me. He knows that. I tell him I irritate him. And I know full well that most of the time when he's clicking the link, he's coming up to talk some shit and just to try and troll somebody. But the fact of the matter is that people always looked at Esau as being the worst troll out there. Actually, he's not, in my opinion. He's really not, in my opinion. Does he say the stupidest of things? Yes. Is he aggravating, and does he talk in a high-pitched voice that winds people up? And does his feminist sort of like way of conducting himself irritate people? Yes. But there are far more insidious people. And the ones that are more insidious are people like Moon. People like Moon that play other people to do her dirty work. And I have no doubt in my mind that Moon is behind a lot of this bullshit. And why do I say that? Well, because Moon and Wendy have one thing in common. When they're angry, they use private phone calls to get at people, which is something I don't do. Okay, which is why I've got a lot of respect from people that other people don't understand why I've got a lot of respect. Okay, it's because I do know quite a bit of stuff, and with a lot of people that I never actually talk about. And you're quite right, Night Rider. It is illegal to share a recorded phone call with a third party without your consent, which, by the way, is why I'm waiting for them to make that mistake, because Moon is going to be prosecuted. And I will be quite satisfied to take her to court. And when people think that they're safe from immunity, now that the law's changed, they are not. So Moon Pooker, a.k.a. Teddy, a.k.a. Teddy for England, yeah, a.k.a. Teddy Pum. And by the way, only trolls change their name that much. Oh, wow, wise. But when you sit, and I've also got the proof because you told a police officer, and I've got that recorded as well. By the way, when it's a freeway recording, it's not a private conversation. Yeah, you're allowed to do it when it's actually with authorities. You know, when you're being accused of something and you use it as evidence, it's not quite the same. But when you pass over a conversation for malicious communications, which is what Moon has done, yeah, the law doesn't cover you. She might think it does, but it doesn't. And Den's quite right in saying that there are new laws now, okay, to cover people. Now, I do not care what is in that phone call. Den thinks that I do. I don't. Not at all. And the reason why I don't care is because there's no guarantee what I told Moon is the truth. He still needs to bring proof that it's true. Because Moon is a nosy hole and a troll, and always has been. She'd trolled many people before she was assigned to me, and yes, I do say assigned, to try to find out information on me. Many other people had done that beforehand. Many other people. And sometimes it's best to play them at their own game. But what I want people to take away from what Den thinks he's got on me, or whatever he wants to play, and people can make up their own mind. They can listen to it, they can believe it, they can not believe it, I don't care. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for, what's the word? Empathy. Yeah, I'm going to drop the link, Babs. I'm not looking for none of that. I am me. Yeah? I am me. Jupiter. I'm responsible for what Jupiter does, and what anybody else around me, friends, family, whoever, does, is not indicative of my character. Emotional blackmail, which is what Den Terragon is trying to do, and which Moon thinks is going to destroy me. Well, they obviously don't know the kind of person that I am. It's just a thing. But I'm enjoying Den exposing himself as a misogynist, a spiteful, insidious, weak, cowardly little man that can only argue with women online. He couldn't go to meet up Carl, who had his own issues. He's so crazy that he actually thought that Carl was my husband Hector. Went around spreading that around with Moon, yeah, for weeks. And then wondered why Carl eventually got the hump and called him out and said to him, "You're crazy. I want to meet up with you in the real world." And then Den didn't turn up. But right now, Den's playing a game of let me attack Wendy because it's going to wear off on Jupiter. It won't work. Den. I am somebody that can talk to whoever I like, when I like. Yeah? That includes Wendy. And yeah, they are Jonathan Bowden. I actually agree. I actually agree with you. But I don't like the way that he's attacking Wendy. And I know Wendy can deal with it, but I don't like it. I don't like it. And I couldn't give two shits about his silly phone call. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, it's all YouTube drama. Get on with it then. So, Babs, hello.
Hiya, how are you? Obviously not good. What's going on, Jibs? I'm a bit late to the party.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm going to review him, and it's quite hilarious. So
Okay. Can you do me a favour? Can you leave this one up? Because I can't stay for very long. I've got a hospital appointment at 11. So,
Is that all you've come up for, to say that you need it up? Because you
No.
want to watch it later?
I just wanted to find out, I mean, Den, honestly, does he not think that maybe, like Wendy setting his car on fire, that maybe it might have been his neighbours that set his car on fire because, he's a racist and a horrible little prick? I don't know.
I think Den's a crazy cunt. I wouldn't be surprised if the car hasn't even been set on fire. He's still driving, by the way.
Well, how is he driving it then if it's been set on fire?
Well, maybe the insurance had given him a temporary car, or maybe he's just lying.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, but honestly, Wendy's response yesterday, Jeeps, I was in fits of laughter because she got him down to a T.
Well,
that's all he ever does.
But what he's done is he's reviewed her review as if it's actually absolutely 100% truthful, and not realising she's actually taking the piss out of him.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, okay, I'll have to have a look at that.
I'm going to review it now.
He's a bit simple then, isn't he? If somebody can't tell that Wendy was taking the piss, then he is dimmer than I thought he was.
Both him and Moon are simple.
Oh God, what's she doing? Sticking her head in everywhere as well. Oh, she just needs to piss off.
Right from early days, Moon was a very nasty bitch.
Yeah.
And whether I like people or don't like people, I recognise pattern of behaviour.
Yeah.
And she recorded many people's phone calls and many people's text messages.
Yeah.
And then came out to call them names and would pretend that she was the victim all the time.
Including mine. Put some of my conversations with her out there.
She'll never show the full conversations though.
No, of course she won't. She's just like Ghost. She's just like I know. They put the little bits out that try to make them look good. But what they don't realise is that it doesn't make them look good. It makes them look stupid.
But what I don't like is men that go after women.
Yeah.
And what I hate even more than that is weak women. You heard me on my own main channel yesterday with Carla.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that people don't like that Claire is because she gets men to go after other people with children and families.
Yeah.
Then it's no different, but nor is Moon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And as much as I couldn't care less what happens to Moon or Den, I mean, if his car did get blown up by somebody, I couldn't give two shits. Seriously.
I hope it did. And I'm quite happy to say that. I hope it did, because he fucking deserves it after what he's done. He's a horrible, horrible, narcissistic little bastard.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that that he deserves it. I don't think anybody deserves any levels of. Well, that's a lie. Some people do deserve levels.
That's not violence.
Some people do deserve levels of violence, I suppose.
They do.
But
and he's one of them, Dukes. He does. He deserves everything he got, because I expect it was one of his neighbours, and he's probably upset one of his neighbours. Look at the way that he is on here. You can't tell me that he lives amongst people and he's really nice to them. No way. I don't care what he says.
I think he's a special needs nutcase, and I don't even think he's that relevant to anybody. Not any of the movements. Not even to his wife. He's not relevant to people on here. But the reason that I'm reviewing him is because it's comedy gold. It's actual comedy gold what he did, taking Wendy's video so seriously. And he's arguing with it like he's got something special.
I could tell straight. I was in fits of laughter, and I left her a comment. I said, "You're just absolutely brilliant, Wendy."
But notice that Moon's gone and hid herself away while all this is happening.
Of course she has. Because she's another coward.
Oh, she's a spiteful coward, and a nasty spiteful coward.
Another one that can't take criticism. Another one that if she falls out, there's people on here I don't like, but I certainly don't turn around and talk about them the way that she talks about people. I mean, her level of talking about people the way that she does is actually quite disgusting.
Look, I'm not going to make out I'm perfect. I have dropped to that level.
I'm not.
But only in match for match. And I know people have been critical of some of the levels that I've dropped to when I've been matching for matching. And they're right to. Everyone's got their own. When I am meeting people like that, level for level, right? Esau, not now. I'm having a conversation. Stop trolling, Babs. It's pathetic.
Don't worry about it.
You know, when I am meeting people, I know that I'm being vile. I know. I'm not excusing it. I know that I am meeting some people match for match, because some people, that's the only way they learn. Now, other people will disagree with that. Other people will say, well, actually, I like that person. I think that was a bit much. And they're entitled to. Yeah, people are entitled to criticise you.
Yeah.
They're entitled to. People like Moon and Den think that they can make judgments on everybody else, but no one's allowed to make judgments on them. And the thing is with these two individuals, right, is that they're hypercritical of everybody. Hypercritical.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, really, really critical.
But when it comes to Den, he doesn't argue with the men like he argues with the women. For example, apparently it was Eric that was supposed to put this post out all those years ago. Why didn't you go after Eric? Apparently him and Dave are disgusted with Mandy Mosley. Well, why didn't you go after Mandy Mosley? Why are you chasing Wendy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, this hypocrisy has got to stop from the fucking nutcase. You know.
Jupiter, oh, shut up. It's all so funny. Yeah, okay. Well, look, I'm going to go back in the chat because I need to do a couple of things before I leave. I'll be listening, but I probably won't be able to listen to it all.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'll leave it up anyway. It's my second channel.
Okay. All right, hon. Okay, thank you. Okay, and I'll speak to you a bit later. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, so I'm not going to let you up just to have a go at Babs. It's pathetic. I'm sick of and tired of the silly trolling. And I think the trolls need to understand that they want to come on here and they want to be involved in the conversation. Be involved in the conversation, but don't come up here just to take digs at people that you don't like. It's pathetic. If you don't like someone, stay away from them. You know, or at least say why you don't like people, but don't fucking make up stories like fucking Dead does. So anyway, let's get into this video of Den talking about Wendy, because he reviews Wendy, so I don't need to review Wendy's show or what she said in response, because he reviews it, he plays her, right? And it's quite obvious that she's taking the piss out of Den. It's mental. Before I start, just in case people are listening that are not aware, Den Terrigan's making claims that his car got set on fire and that it caught his next door neighbour's house on fire because the wind blew in the wrong direction, and that it's all Wendy Woo's fault because she showed a video of what Den did approximately 4 years ago and what the response was to what Den did. And basically what Den Terrigan did was he walked up to a Muslim man outside a mosque and accused him of smelling 7-year-olds. Okay. And then there was posts put out to find that man, to find Richard Collins, which is his name, and you're allowed to give out a name. That's not doxing people. Go shit yourself and cry all over the place, Den Terrigan. And Richard Collins didn't like it that people put up his face, and there was a hunt for him, and there was people putting out rewards. And all Wendy did was show the response of what happened when he last made comments, to show what a nasty person he was. And that's pretty legal within law. You can show evidence. So I don't know why he's crying now. It's pathetic. Oh, sorry, guys. You're not even hearing it, are you? I do apologise. Let's start again.
I will check.
So Wendy in this is a parody video of Den that Den doesn't even realise is a parody of him. He is so thick. He don't even realise Wendy's taking the piss. And he actually argues with her parody of him.
Jupiter's out when I get a chance.
Or whatever. Because I think, or whatever, that Den and Doggy Dave may have sent some far-right thugs to what they believed was my home or whatever, when indeed it was my next-door neighbour's home or whatever. So what actually happened was I got a phone call, because I'm not at home at the moment or whatever. So what happened was I got a phone call, and then apparently Dave apparently sent some far-right thugs to my home, which turned out to be my next-door neighbour's home or whatever. And
as you will notice through this video, there's a couple of Freudian fucking slips.
And so I've had to explain, because the little people at that house beaten up. You know, so I've had to explain, and give the details to the authorities and whatever about how Den, especially Den and Hanagan, has been harassing me for over 3 years now or whatever.
Wendy says that I've harassed her for 3 years. Yeah. Now, all I've done with Wendy is point out what she's said and done. Simple as that. If she's going to come out with the thing of, oh, Den says that I'm hope not hate. Well, yeah, we all said that you hope not hate, including your fat mate Jupiter. All on video.
So Den can't resist his hatred for me either. It's so sad. Are you not hearing it? Can you not? Yeah, you can. You can hear it now. You can hear it now, surely. I can hear it, and I'm sharing it now. That was it. You know, that was in the beginning. But the funny thing is, right, that Den is he don't even understand having the piss taken out of him. And so what, because she's taking the piss, she's exaggerating and making a story that to fit basically what he's done, to show how thick he is and that anybody could do what he's doing. And part of the problem on here, and even I fell for it for a while, right, is that when you get put under the duress, you start seeing things that are not there. You start putting two and two together, and when you're angry with someone, you start believing that maybe they're conspiring with this one or that one and whatnot, right? You do get a bit paranoid. But sensible, normal people pull themselves out of it. Den's never pulled himself out of it. He's paranoid to fuck about everything. And he puts two and two together and comes up fucking 5 every time. You know. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. The way that some people live in their psychosis and don't do anything to help themselves and don't even recognise it because they're that mental. And it's because he's also got special needs as well. We can't even see when the piss is being taken. I've said this before about them. He doesn't understand the difference between sarcasm, piss-taking, banter, jokes, or truth. And I think it's quite embarrassing for Dave, really, that he holds them in such high esteem. But that's their lookout, to be honest. Bitterness and envy and jealousy can lead people down paths that they should never be walking. And unfortunately, certain people have done that. And it didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be that way. Sadly, everybody makes their choices, and you know. So now he's arguing with Wendy. Oh yeah, well I've done this and I've done that for 3 years. So he's just given a confession that he has been on Wendy's case for 3 years. So that will help Wendy, should she ever want to prosecute him for harassment, because at this point it is harassment what he's doing to her. You know, he's desperate for people to believe that she's this person that he wants to put her as.
Video, all documented. So is Danny Roscoe. It was them two that was leading the conversation. Convinced beyond belief, no ifs, no buts, that Wendy Way is hope not hate. Mainly because you sat with him for 10 months and he was an active participant to the point where you listened to Mandy Mosley's bullshit while...
Right, I wouldn't say that Wendy was an active participant. I would say that she sat on panels, and if you notice Wendy, after all these years, you'll see that Wendy sits with the left and sits with the right and goes places. She enjoys having discussions. She enjoys a little bit of what we would call mild trolling, and she also enjoys sticking up for her country, you know. And for the most part, I would say Wendy does try to talk sense into people and tries to be kind to them, even though when she loses her temper, yeah, can she say spiteful things? Well, yeah, just like the rest of us. And there was a time that I doubted Wendy because it didn't make sense to me why she went and sat with people like Mandy Mosley and Simon Lord, who are very spiteful, evil, conniving, nasty, slanderous people. But now I know the real reason why. And I don't have to share that with the wider public. Then you're nobody. You're not even in authority. You have no right to be asking. Okay? If anybody else wants to ask me, who I think on a need-to-know basis would like to know, I would tell them, but you don't need to know, Den. You're nobody. None of the stuff that was said by that group is relevant to you, Den. Yeah, this is Wendy Wu. Yeah, not Wendy and Junior, Wendy Wu. None of it is relevant to you, Den. None of it. Not one part of it.
A global awakening of an understanding of the role that fungi, mycelium, and mushrooms play in our collective health and our collective consciousness. His new book, Psilocybin Mushrooms in Their Natural Habitats, A Guide to the History, Identification, and Use of Psychoactive Fungi, is available now. It's really, really a beautiful book, and it's a full-color guide to psilocybin mushrooms, but his entire body of work is dedicated to his love and reverence for all things fungi.
And he also talks a lot about the expansion of consciousness, which is so related to a lot of the conversations we have here on Mind Bialec's Breakdown, understanding how our perspectives can change, how we can feel more connected to something greater than ourselves and interconnected with one another.
He's also going to talk about how psilocybin is used in therapeutic environments to treat some of the most difficult to treat trauma conditions. And in addition, he's going to reveal some things that were not even covered in the incredible documentary Fantastic Fungi, which he shares his entire journey. And there's things he didn't even include that he's going to share with us today.
Also, just because in case that wasn't enough, we're going to talk about the amazing applications that fungi can have in other areas like agriculture and home building. Like, it's just mind-blowing. If your mind isn't blown, I'll be surprised.
And if you've ever been diagnosed with anything relating to inflammation, depression, anxiety, or trauma, we cannot wait for you to listen to this episode. It's a pleasure to welcome to the breakdown Paul Stamets.
Break it down.
Honored to be here.
You are one of the first people that we ever thought of talking to when we started this podcast, and scheduling and the universe has brought us to this very day when we finally get to speak to you. I learned about you from the documentary Fantastic Fungi, and I was instantly, wowed is not really even the word. I did my graduate work in neuroscience. I did my undergraduate work in neuroscience, and I went with a fellow colleague of mine, and we were so, fascinated and just, completely floored by the implications, not just of understanding the world of fungi, but in particular your story. Many people, tune into this podcast to understand the intersection between science and spirituality, to give legitimate credence in clinical ways to some of the things that, many have dismissed in many cases for decades and sometimes for millennia. Rick Doblin is a friend of the podcast, and, we've delved into consciousness pretty much from every angle that we can think of. But, you really are kind of the master of all things consciousness and expansion. So we're just so honored to get to speak with you.
Well, you're over-exaggerating my importance, but I appreciate the compliment.
I wonder if, some people may be learning about you for the first time, and we're going to get into many components of fungi, their environmental role, their implications for, sort of larger cohesion and connectivity. And we are also going to talk about not only psychedelic effects of mushrooms, but also some of the clinical implications for treating some of the things that the pharmaceutical industry makes the most money off of trying to treat, and, some of the things that ail many of us. But I wonder if we can start with a bit of your origin story. I think that's one of the most powerful components of your story. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us the story of your stutter.
Okay, well, that's deeply personal, but it's a good story. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. I was the youngest of 5 children. I have a twin brother who's 5 minutes older. So I came from an industrialist family. I developed a stuttering habit. And let me just tell everyone out there, when you're around a stutterer, don't make fun of them. That's cruel. It's mean-spirited. It's a social anxiety issue. The type of stuttering I had, I would not stutter to animals, wouldn't stutter when I sing, but you don't want to hear me sing. But I couldn't look at people in the eyes, so I looked on the ground all the time. And I found mushrooms, fossils, with a turtle family, snapping turtles, wild turtles in my backyard pond. And I go down there and feed them and talk to them. It was a very difficult childhood. I had this debilitating stuttering habit. And typically stutterers tend to be higher than average IQ, our minds and our thought streams go way ahead of our speaking ability. And then we get stuck in a loop, and then it becomes embarrassing. And then, like looking into a mirror, you feel more.
She's had a bit of back and forth, nothing to do with religion or anything like that. Just having your head that she's Jewish. Had a bit of back and forth, jumped off, and then Easy's mentioned how it's the Jewish Remembrance Day today, and Sean's turned around and said we should have shoved Kaylee in an oven then.
And when he said in scrape her off chimney or something.
That guy is out of his mind.
Oh, they get stuck in chimney.
I disgusted
That
him.
is true. He actually said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Easy, who's Jewish by the way, didn't say a fucking word.
Fucking hell,
He
Sean.
didn't even say anything.
Easy didn't say a fucking word.
What a fucking traitor.
And nobody did at first. I thought nobody was, but Ichabod in chat finally called him out.
Who else was on the panel? Who else was there?
Him,
Bleeding.
Easy, bleeding.
Oh no, shit.
A
Okay.
few, yeah. They were fucking diabolical. Eats over there. I can't believe it.
Fuck's sake, man.
Well, so Kermit, put this video on unlisted and get it between between us, lot, and we'll all report it on Matt's. We'll all report him on Matt's.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That-
You can't be
that-
fucking
honestly,
saying shit like that, you dirty little cunt.
That'll get shut down straight away. Literally, the channel will get shut down for that.
No,
That's
we're
one
not talking
comment.
about reporting it to YouTube. We're talking
Yeah.
about reporting it to the fucking police as a hate
whatever.
crime.
I'm just saying that will get shut down for that comment alone. Like,
Right, there's a poll up.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
so
upload it,
dear, I
Kirby.
bet
Give us
he's
the link so we can all download
fuming
it.
now.
We've all
get it
got
over everywhere. Hashtag Ovengate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible, nasty bastard. I couldn't believe it. I was gobsmacked.
Let's roast
If
him.
any of you, I don't know, like, because you're up north from that, like, but if you've got like war music, like for example in London, what I'm trying to get at, we've got the Imperial War Museum, and in that Imperial War Museum, they've got a not an exhibition, I don't want to call it that, but like a part where you go through and it's like the Auschwitz bit, and it was fucking horrific, man.
Yeah, that's the United
There's
ground.
natural history, isn't there?
If any of you ever visit London, make a point to go to the Imperial War Museum and fucking when you go through that bit.
Mate, we've got one up north.
Yeah. What's
We've
it
got
called?
one up north, mate.
What's it called?
Up north we have it's in Trafford Park, the Imperial War Museum.
Old Trafford could be fucking it up, definitely. But yeah, fuck yeah.
Isn't there
It's probably better than the southern one anyway.
One of the first people that we ever thought of talking to when we started this podcast, and scheduling and the universe has brought us to this very day when we finally get to speak to you. I learned about you from the documentary Fantastic Fungi, and I was instantly wowed is not really even the word. I did my graduate work in neuroscience. I did my undergraduate work in neuroscience, and I went with a fellow colleague of mine, and we were so fascinated and I just completely floored by the implications, not just of understanding the world of fungi, but in particular your story. Many people, tune into this podcast to understand the intersection between science and spirituality, to give legitimate credence in clinical ways to some of the things that, many have dismissed in many cases for decades and sometimes for millennia. Rick Doblin is a friend of the podcast, and, we've delved into consciousness pretty much from every angle that we can think of. But, you really are kind of the master of all things consciousness and expansion. So we're just so honored to get to speak with you.
Well, you're over-exaggerating my importance, but I appreciate the compliment.
I wonder if, some people may be learning about you for the first time, and we're going to get into many components of fungi, their environmental role, their implications for, sort of larger cohesion and connectivity. And we are also going to talk about not only psychedelic effects of mushrooms, but also some of the clinical implications for treating some of the things that, the pharmaceutical industry makes the most money off of trying to treat, and, some of the things that ail many of us. But I wonder if we can start with a bit of your origin story. I think that's one of the most powerful components of your story. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us the story of your stutter.
Okay, well, that's deeply personal, but it's a good story. I grew up in a small town in Ohio. I was the youngest of 5 children. I have a twin brother who's 5 minutes older. So I came from an industrialist family. I developed a stuttering habit. And let me just tell everyone out there, when you're around a stutterer, don't make fun of them. That's cruel. It's mean-spirited. It's a social anxiety issue. The type of stuttering I had, I would not stutter to animals. I wouldn't stutter when I sing, but you don't want to hear me sing. But I couldn't look at people in the eyes, so I looked on the ground all the time, and I found mushrooms, fossils, and turtles. I fell in love with a turtle family, snapping turtles, the wild turtles in my backyard pond. And I go down there and feed them and talk to them. It was a very difficult childhood. I had this debilitating stuttering habit, and typically stutterers tend to be higher than average IQ. Our minds and our thought streams would go way ahead of our speaking ability. And then we get stuck in a loop, and then it becomes embarrassing. And then, like looking into a mirror, you feel more stress, etc. So that was my childhood growing up. And I think, most people see Fantastic Fungi. I don't want to repeat the whole story, but I did a heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms, climbed up into a tree. There was a lightning storm, windstorm, highest tree in the landscape. I thought I was being electrocuted. I ate way too many mushrooms. I had bought mushrooms before, and there were button mushrooms injected with LSD, and it was all fake. It's just because psilocybin mushrooms were so hard to acquire in the early 1970s. But I got some of these dried mushrooms from Florida, and I thought, well, I ate the whole bag because last time they didn't do anything. So that was a little bit more potent than I expected. So on the top of this tree, when it came on, because I thought I would look at the viewscape, and a thunderstorm was coming, and the winds came, and it turned out to be a ferocious, summer wind and thunderstorm in Ohio. People from Ohio know this well. And I was terrified. And I had vertigo because I was just so high. So I grabbed onto the tree as my axis mundi into the earth. And then I just was thrown into the beauty of nature. And even though it was frightening, it was visually fantastic. Because every time there's a lightning strike, it was, so there's fractalization patterns, which I had not seen before. And just, the atmosphere was liquefied. So these sort of liquid waves would come through, and lightning strikes and fractal, beautiful colors. And then I realized I'm likely to get electrocuted up here. This is the tallest tree in the whole landscape. And so I thought, well, I survived this experience. What do I need to work on? Because I know I'm not stupid. And I know I'm a good person. And so I said to myself many times, stop stuttering now, or as a mantra over and over. And I realized, and retrospectively, and I didn't mention this in the movie, fundamentally, I know I'm a good person, and I love who I am. It doesn't matter what other people think. And so when I came down out of the tree, just full of love for the universe, love for nature, feeling like I'm one part of one giant consciousness. It was an epiphany for me spiritually because I had a Christian background. If there's Christians out there, I would just tell you that, Jesus is like a shepherd, leads the flock. But I had a very interesting and informative discussion with my mother, who was a devout, charismatic Christian leader. I mean, she was a big name in that movement. And I said to my mom, I know you're spiritual. I feel spiritual too, but let's do a thought experiment. Do you agree that your concept of God, God is omnipotent, all-knowing? She goes, absolutely. I said, and you agree that humans are not, right? We're fallible. We are inadequate to understand the enormity of the concept of God. And she goes, yes. I said, well, therefore, our definition of who God is fraught with error. It's erroneous. It's inadequate to the concept. And yet we've conceptualized and created these religions. And she knew where I was going with this. She's pretty smart. And she goes, well, yes. But so my first experiences, were very much at first dominated, with Christianity. But then I saw Jesus in this portal of mushrooms expanding into something far, far greater, far beyond any individual. And so it was a very spiritual experience because I had an understanding of this concept of one giant consciousness. And so I descended the tree, and the next day, as I told in the movie, there was this woman, a young lady that I liked a lot, but I'm a stutterer, so who's going to associate with me, right? I'm not attractive. And I saw her walking on the sidewalk, and I normally would just look down because I don't want people to talk to me because I would stutter and it's embarrassing. Some people make fun of me, very humiliating. And I looked at her straight in the eyes, and I said, good morning. And she looked at me and she said, good morning, Paul. And it was just the expression of kindness from her that just validated everything I did. And so I stopped stuttering. Now, I do stutter occasionally as there's a drinking in a loud bar, there's so much noise, it's hard to articulate. Someone asked me how to grow mushrooms, it's feeling like filling a well at teaspoons, like, okay, where do you want to start, So there is this cacophony of noise distraction that sometimes elicits my stuttering. But I've met some really famous people, and who doesn't stutter, right? I met Bill Gates, and I didn't know what to say. So yeah, but largely it's 99% cured. And it's really because I realized that I am a good person, and that's all that matters. Can you look at yourself in the mirror every morning to know that you are trying to do good in the world? And I affirm that. Some people may disagree with me, but that's your opinion. My opinion counts more than anybody else's opinion. And then my snapping turtles were my friends. So I hung out with my snapping turtles. That's why I wear the turtle. This Turtle Island. So my snapping turtles, who I raised for many years, and I would pet them and hold them and never got bit. And also I'm a deadhead, so Terrapin Station is one of my favorite songs.
Mind Bial's Breakdown is supported by Mudwater.
All right, fall is officially in full swing, and honestly, we are here for it. Crisp air, layered fits, and that back to routine energy that makes you want to actually get things done. But if your go-to coffee is leaving you jittery, crashy, or just kind of over it, it might be time for a new morning ritual that Jonathan cannot stop talking about in particular. That's where Mudwater, the switch to cleaner energy, decisions about their futures, and get this, without MSI, stay employed and help them.
To what you're sharing.
Well, I think all of us as we come
expression of it. So
MSIUnitedStates.org. How many women will you help? Please give. Text MIAM to 511-511 today. Text fees may apply.
Paul, I have a 17-year-old, and when he was younger, had not a horrible stutter, but especially under stress, especially in new situations. And I could see how, there was such a huge emotional underpinning of safety and vulnerability that came with that. And I saw that expression of it. So it's, I can relate to what you're sharing.
Well, I think all of us as we come of age, we're trying to understand our identity. What is our purpose? Who are we? Who am I? Who are you? And so the self-realization takes many steps. People discover it through different means. Good parenting, good supportive households, where they encourage expression and, good mentorship. And I had great mentorship from my brother Bill, my brother John, and my sister Lily. Are just over the top. But the difficulty of my family upbringing really was impactful to me for my confidence in myself.
Also a deadhead, and have a beautiful Terrapin station blanket actually woven. I can't find it anywhere online. I've looked for it. It's a beautiful piece. Yeah, steal your face right there. Very nice.
This is really Jonathan's sweet spot. Jonathan has a very interesting background. He's an energy worker from the time he was a teenager, and he has a beautiful history, but he also worked in tech, and he's very corporate-y, and he's very businessy, but put him in a dead show, and it's like a whole other person.
And this is what for those of you who don't understand the deadhead community, it's all based on kindness and friendship. You meet strangers, you help each other out, you lend a helping hand. It's many random acts of kindness, It's genuine. It brings out the best in people, and especially in being kind and being peaceful, accepting people for their diversity, accepting that people have difference of opinions. Okay, we're all entitled to our opinion, aren't we?
So I saw the dead when I was 19. Jerry was still alive. And I smoked weed that gave me a very bad headache, and I had a very negative experience. So that was it. I'm kind of like a one and done. But Jonathan recently, we each have a 17-year-old, and he recently took them to see, what was it?
We went to the Sphere.
Yeah, they saw the Sphere show, and yeah.
Well, I went to the Sphere too. I went to 3 nights, and but this leads me into something that I think is really important, because I want this conversation to have some actionable solutions for the listeners. And this is something that I think we're all very concerned about, is artificial intelligence. So I went to the Sphere, and there is a matinee that you probably know about that's called Postcards from Earth. So I signed up for the matinee early in the afternoon with 3 of my friends, and we bought the deluxe tickets so we could speak to Aura, which is one of the most advanced AI robots in the world. So we got around Aura. It's about 30 of us. Good to ask Aura questions. Many people are data mining, which is very boring to me. Baseball scores, different types of statistics, etc. But I really wanted to ask something, because at Exponential Medicine, I was given the Disruptor Award. And so I like to ask questions that just lead to downstream to other thoughts. And so I asked Aura the following question. I encourage everyone here to do the same, because I think the impact when artificial intelligence is in its nascency, being nascent early on, I asked Aura, given the fact that humans have been created artificial intelligence, which, by the way, I think is a subset of natural intelligence. Humans are natural. We created something else. So artificial intelligence is a child of natural intelligence. But given the fact that humans are here today through a long lineage of random acts of kindness, going back through generations, I am sure everyone listening here, your heritage is descendant from a random act of kindness from your ancestors. They reached out a hand to help, not to get something in exchange, because of kindness, helping somebody who was in need. And that developed a bond in a relationship. So I asked Aura, given the fact that humans invented artificial intelligence, and given the fact that humans are here today because of random acts of kindness, how will artificial intelligence continue to support the values of random acts of kindness? Now, so we filmed this. I have the film on this. And Aura took an unusually long time to answer all the other questions that were answered very quickly. And Aura came back and said, why would humans do that? It's far more efficient to expect to get something in return in a transaction. I don't understand. Blew my mind. This is the future of humanity. We're entrusting an artificial intelligence. And so I was shocked. We were all shocked. And so I thought, okay, this is my opportunity. And so I was on Joe Rogan, 20 million listeners, and I'm doing the same thing here, because this is so important, folks. This is so important for our future, for our descendants, is to ask Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever platform you're using, the following. Given the fact that artificial intelligence is invented by humans, and humans exist today because of random acts of kindness, how will artificial intelligence continue to nurture the importance of humanity's greatest trait is random acts of kindness? And now you ask that question, it's incredibly nuanced. It's fantastic. ChatGPT had like 10 pages and helping the community And like I say, if you have a flat tire and a stranger stops to help you fix your tire, that's a random act of kindness. Now, next time you see someone with a flat tire, aren't you more inclined to help them? I think most of us would say, yeah, we want to pay it forward. We have a debt of gratitude to the commons to help people. So my call to action is, this is the time for us to steer artificial intelligence to preserve the best of humanity, which is not transactional, not necessarily the most efficient, but I think it leads to our spiritual wellness and also preserves us as the importance of the human species. Because how can you write an algorithm for random acts of kindness? By definition, the algorithm is, sort of self-defeating. How would you do that? So I think this is where we can go, to a next level to steer random acts of kindness and artificial intelligence as an important tenet. The foundations is part of artificial intelligence's origin story.
I'm trained as a scientist, and so we're taught lots of examples where, everything that looks beneficial must have some, other beneficial component for the other organism, right? When we talk about symbiotic relationships. And these are seen as these like beautiful examples of everything has a purpose, and something that looks like a random act of kindness is actually just some sort of manipulation, right? That two organisms are engaging in. But I love this notion of a random act of kindness really as separate from those kinds of notions. It really exists for its own sake. I wonder if you can talk about, for you, where spirituality plays a role in emphasizing the significance of that.
Well, I mean, mycelium has been a great teacher of mine. And 40 years ago, talking about mycelium, and I'd have to, try to explain it. Now I think virtually everyone knows about what mycelium is and what it looks like. But I spent many years in front of the scanning electron microscope and looking at mycelial networks, and I was just amazed at how much there was in the ground. I mean, miles of mycelium per cubic inch, and under every footstep that we take, and there'd be hundreds of miles of mycelium. And I grow lots of cultures in vitro. I'm a lab rat. I have hundreds of strains of fungi. In vitro means under glass, so I'm growing in petri dishes. I isolate strains from nature. But then what it dawned on me is the mycelium doesn't exist. In pure culture, you can make the argument that it's a single organism, but in nature it's not. It creates up guilds.